Most points in a single game by a rookie. Joe Malone holds the record for the most points scored in a single game by a rookie, tallying 7 goals and 1 assist for 8 points in a game in 1920. Maurice Richard, the impact of his injuries on his career trajectory. Maurice Richard, also known as the Rocket, was a legendary ice hockey player who played for the Montreal Canadiens in the 1940s and 1950s. He was known for his exceptional skill, speed, and scoring ability, and he is considered one of the greatest players in the history of the sport. However, Richard's career was marked by a series of injuries that had a significant impact on his performance and ultimately affected the trajectory of his career. One of the most notable injuries that Richard suffered was a severe head injury he sustained during a game in 1955. In a game against the Boston Bruins, Richard was hit from behind by defenseman Hal Laycoe, causing him to crash headfirst into the boards. The impact of the collision was so severe that Richard was knocked unconscious and had to be carried off the ice on a stretcher. The injury left Richard with a concussion and severe bruising, and he was forced to miss several games as a result. The head injury had a lasting impact on Richard's performance on the ice. Prior to the injury, Richard was known for his fearless and aggressive playing style, often barreling through defenders to get to the net. However, after the injury, Richard's approach to the game changed. He became more cautious and hesitant, avoiding risky plays and contact with other players. This change in playing style affected Richard's effectiveness on the ice and ultimately led to a decline in his scoring numbers. In addition to the head injury, Richard also suffered a number of other injuries throughout his career, including knee injuries, shoulder injuries, and back injuries. These injuries not only affected Richard's physical ability to play the game, but also took a toll on his mental and emotional well-being. As a result of his injuries, Richard struggled with chronic pain, limited mobility, and constant fear of re-injury. These factors contributed to Richard's decision to retire from professional hockey in 1960 at the age of 38. Despite the challenges Richard faced due to his injuries, his impact on the sport of hockey and the Montreal Canadiens franchise cannot be overstated. Richard was a 6-time Stanley Cup champion, a 2-time NHL scoring champion, and a 13-time All-Star. He was the first player in NHL history to score 50 goals in a single season, a feat that was not matched until over 30 years later. Richard's scoring prowess and legendary status in Montreal earned him a place in the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1961, just 1 year after his retirement. In conclusion, Maurice Richard's career was marked by a series of injuries that had a significant impact on his performance and ultimately affected the trajectory of his career. Despite these challenges, Richard's legacy as one of the greatest players in the history of hockey remains intact. His scoring records, championship titles, and influence on the sport continue to be celebrated by fans and players alike. Maurice Richard will always be remembered as a true legend of the game, whose contributions to hockey will never be forgotten.